I still love the noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock. It's noon o'clock somewhere.
It's noon o'clock somewhere.
What's going on, man? Exciting week of wrestling. I was out at Holy Spirit last night, checking them out, win the first sectional championship in school history. You were out checking out Southern Regional, taking down another crown. Phil, get us up to date on high school wrestling and what's going on.
Yeah, how about the Cape Atlantic League schools sweeping the non-publics there with St Augustine taking South Jersey non-public A and Holy Spirit taking South Jersey non-public B. That's a heck of an accomplishment from both teams there. St Augustine was a heck of a match. Another fifth straight year seeing CBA in the sectional finals. Those guys, as St Augustine people know, CBA and St Augustine seem to square off in every sport: basketball, soccer, just everything. One thing after another. Those guys go back and forth.
Chess, squash, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I think came down to the last match again. Steven Schwab had a big pin there. A lot of back and forth. A lot of talented wrestlers on both sides. You'll see a handful of state qualifiers and place winners come out of that match. A lot of great wrestling. And then Holy Spirit, my goodness. Congratulations to Ralph Palone and the guys. Head coach there does an amazing job. Early favorite, I would say, for press coach of the year. We'll see how that turns out. Yeah, just an unbelievable job from Reggie Jean Charles. Everybody knows him from football, but Reggie's a heck of a wrestler too. Comes out giving up 80-something pounds, gets a pin at heavyweight there, all the way to last match of the night. Ryan Keel needs to kind of stay off his back there and does one better and pins his guy. From what I understand, he was kind of taken down, fighting off his back, just showed a lot of heart, came back.
Yeah, he was nearly pinned twice, and he fought through it and kind of outlasted the boy from Holy Cross. So that was a great way to finish up for Spartans.
And that's what it's all about. And that's kind of that's Ralph Palone's signature. Toughness kind of thing. So good for those guys. Happy. A lot of people, myself included, kind of consider Holy Cross the favorite in that one. But hats off to Holy Spirit. That's an unbelievable achievement there. First sectional title in school history. Now they get to go up to Toms River tomorrow.
We're going to be talking to Clearview head coach Dave Tomasetti here after you. Talk about the Pioneers a little bit, and they've been on a real nice run the last couple of years.
Yeah, I know we've talked about them a few times this year. I really like that Clearview team. I was up there, the day before the blizzard and watched St. Augustine barely, narrowly get past them kind of thing. I really like that Clearview team. Talk about toughness. Tomasetti was kind of famous for that himself in his days. Those guys wrestle with passion throughout the lineup. They're brutal to match up with, especially in the middle there. They kind of call them murderers, from what I understand. Zach Firestone, headed to Buck now. He's a state title contender. Mike Van Brill, one of the best wrestlers I've seen down this way in the last few years. This kid is always scoring. He's my favorite to win the state championship at his weight. Then Stanley Atkinson's no slouch there too. The three of those guys in a row just make it impossible for you to match up with them. They've got a few other tough kids sprinkled throughout the lineup. Up top, Vito Nucci at 220 pounds. He's going to play football in college. Really tough kid. I really like that Clearview team. They might take a run at the state championship themselves.
Yeah, we were talking earlier with Tim Fitzpatrick of Holy Spirit and talk about that team a little bit. And, he's been a real key to that squad. And, we're talking about a team a couple of years ago, even last year, had trouble filling out a lineup, could barely win any dual matches just because they couldn't fill out the weight classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody kind of knows they've had some individual success through the years. Mac Mancuso, who's now on the staff there, doing a heck of a job with those guys, wins their first state championship. Then Pat Darcy, everybody knows Pat Darcy came through. He's up wrestling at Princeton now, doing an unbelievable job as a true freshman. He comes through, wins his state championship last year after being a two-time state place winner before that. They kind of had those individuals to kind of hang their hats on. But even with Darcy in the lineup, they were forfeiting 4 and 5 weight classes as recently as last year and the year before. This year they fill out the roster with some tough kids. They've got some young guys, some guys that wouldn't necessarily be varsity ready in a lot of places, but like I said, Coach Baylon gets more out of his guys than any coach in the area in terms of that. Does a heck of a job. Yeah, you're right. They've got some talented guys. So now you've got Timmy Fitzpatrick there at 145, Alec Harper at 132, although I saw he bounced up to 38 for the team yesterday. Michael Wazen up top there at 182 has had a heck of a nice season. Danny Ramirez, another nice job. That was a big match. Even in the loss last night, he's only been back for 4 or 5 days from a torn ACL or an LCL he suffered in the preseason. He holds on and only loses to Cam Wasson from Holy Cross, who's a tough kid, who's had all season of conditioning, this and that and the other thing. Ramirez has got a week's worth of conditioning under his belt and only loses 6-5 to Cam Wasson. Reggie Jean-Charles, Mason Murphy up top. They've kind of been known for their lower weights in recent years. Now they've got some tough uppers. The one thing I loved about last night, too, and I know he got pinned, but from what I understand and speaking with the coaches, Mason Murphy got pinned by Matt Carenti there of Holy Cross. A lot of teams in that situation, now Paylone's old school, a lot of teams in that situation probably forfeit to Matt Carenti, knowing that he's probably 6 points anyway. He's the Beast of the East champ, finished second in the state last year, number 4 in the country at 220 pounds. But from what I understand, Mason Murphy basically wanted to take a shot at him. And why not? That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's not every day you get to wrestle one of the top 5 kids in the country, so why not go out there and take a shot at him?
You're going to wrestle shoot? little Vision Quest action going on?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
solid reference.
That kid's a beast from Holy Cross, But good job by Mason there. He's a tough kid. He's a football player, so hey, why not take a shot?
That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Why not? You're exactly right. Like, Carenti's probably 6 points anyway. Like I said, this time of year, a lot of teams probably forfeit to him, but not Paylone. If he's got somebody willing to go out there, might as well send him out. You never know. Weirder things have happened.
Did you expect the tough Irish kid to forfeit? Heck
never,
no, man.
Never. Absolutely not. He wrestled a fire hydrant.
We're talking with John O'Kane from the Press for Atlantic City, as we do this time every week. John, what are you looking for tomorrow up in Toms River? We're talking about teams going for overall state titles. Any of these Cape Atlantic League teams have a shot?
I'm going to get beat up here, but it's really tough. The non-publics, everybody knows how the non-public debate went with people wanting to separate schools and stuff like that. And one of the reasons was wrestling. The North Jersey non-public schools are brutally deep. I mean, St. Augustine's got the toughest matchup of anybody in the gym. I would never count St. Augustine out of anything. They've got a heck of a tough team. Billy Ward does a nice job there with them. Starting with all throughout the lineup. Reed White, Nick Clark, Dylan Taylor, Jim Brady, Jose Tabora, Schwab, I mentioned, some tough younger guys, Connor Kraus. They're wrestling Bergen Catholic, who, depending on what poll you look at, they're top 3 in the country, top 5 in the country. Everybody knows Nick Suriano, who's going to try to become the next 4-time unbeaten state champion. He's headed to Penn State, number 1 wrestler in the country. They've got a handful of state championship contenders throughout their lineup. Probably a half dozen or more Division I level talents. It's just going to be a brutally tough matchup. I think I saw they beat Del Barton 66-9 or something like that in the North Jersey non-public A final. Del Barton, they sounded pretty pedestrian by that score, but Del Barton's they're number 2 or 3 in our New Jersey Wrestling Writers Association top 20 poll. So they're no slouches. They're nationally ranked in some top 40s, top 50s kind of thing. Bergen Catholic makes them look pedestrian. I mean, that Bergen Catholic team is on a whole nother level. Then Holy Spirit, again, I wouldn't count Ralph Paylone coach team out of anything. The Paul Catholic comes in, though. Those guys are deep and tough throughout. That's going to be a really tough matchup, too. But you hate to say somebody's happy to be there, but like I said, it's a heck of an accomplishment for these guys to keep getting back there. And if you keep getting back there, you're going to break through one of these years. You know what I mean? If St. Augustine keeps getting back there, Holy Spirit gets up there a few times, eventually you're going to break through. You know what I mean? These guys are making a name for themselves, and it's great to see.
What about a team like Southern out of Ocean County? I mean, my former classmate John Stout doing a great job with that program. What's their status for tomorrow?
I really like Southern's chances. Unfortunately for hashtag writer reporter problems here. No, I hate to say that, but all 3 of these guys are wrestling at the same time as my luck would have it.
Oh, geez.
St. Augustine and Holy Spirit will be wrestling at 2:00. Southern Regional will be on the mat next to them, wrestling at 2:00. Now, St. A's and Holy Spirit, they go right to the state finals and non-public. There's no state semifinals. You go right from north versus south. Southern Regional's 2:00 match will be a semifinal in state group 5. So they'll wrestle that. They're heavily favored in their side of it, and fellow short conference power Howe is heavily favored on their side of it. So everybody's kind of expecting, at least on paper, Southern to wrestle Howe in the state group 5 championship. And just, what do I know kind of thing. But in looking at matchups on paper, I've got Southern winning that by, 12 points or so, 8 to 12 points. Howe's a really tough team, not counting them out. Anything can happen this type of year. They're kind of an interesting matchup. Where Howe's strong, Southern's got some strength and things like that. There's going to be some really nice matchups there. The coin toss is going to go a long way in terms of figuring out who dictates the matchups. But, nobody does a better job in terms of matching up and figuring out where he needs to get points and things like that than John Stout. And I expect Southern, even though this is their 11th, I believe, South Jersey title, and they're 10th since 2005. But they've only got one state championship to show for it because they keep running into, powerful Brick Memorial teams and Phillipsburg teams and Jackson Memorial teams. But now they're kind of set up for success here. Great senior class. I love John Stout's quote last night that these guys have always been thought of as a bunch of ham and eggers, but now they're kind of showing people what they're doing the last 4 years. And they're tough. They don't get enough credit. They've got a lot of tough wrestlers. Peyton Blavel was telling me last night he's looking at Campbell, which is Division I college down in North Carolina, where a couple of St. Aug guys are headed, Reed White and Nick Clark. Carrie Kolak coaches the team, one of the best wrestlers in American history. He's looking to possibly head down there. Joe Tosie's already committed to go to Sacred Heart. Then they've got tough guys just throughout, from about 132 up to 195. 182, 195. Southern Regional is the last team you want to see. They're just brutal in the middle. So, I talked about Clearview being tough to match up with, but the Southern's impossible to match up with. They are brutally difficult, and I like their chances of winning their second one.
Good stuff, Oak. Thanks for taking some time again this week. We'll catch up with you next week as we get ready for districts.
Hey, absolutely. If I could, this is not a shameless plug. I'm good with shameless plugs, although the Galway Township Middle School team did win the league championship with a tough win against Davies. But on a serious note, a good friend of mine, Dave Martin, and some guys over here, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Matt Caesar.
Sure.
They did the Big East 60 profile on him.
Yep.
He did the Be the Match, bow marrow, or, the marrow blood drive kind of thing. If you're in the area in Galloway Township today until about 2 o'clock, they're having a kind of a registry thing. I actually was able to do it yesterday. It's pretty easy if you're in the area. Like I said, you get swabbed. They swab the inside of your cheek kind of thing, and then you go in kind of possible registry in terms of, blood cancers and things like that, raising research and awareness and that kind of thing. Great event. Like I said, if you're in the area. So that's not so much a shameless plug, just a good cause there. But
good stuff. Is it at Galloway Township Middle School?
Galloway Township Middle School. They'll be out there until about 2 o'clock today. Like I said, it's a registry drive, so you're not actually giving blood or anything like that today. It's like a registry drive. You kind of see if you're a match. You do the swabs. You send it off in a packet. It's actually really interesting if you're a science guy, if you're a science geek like me. It's interesting how they do it, and then you kind of hear back and find out if you're, possibly, a match, that kind of thing. And everybody knows, like I said, Matt Caesar ended up being a match, and Andy Talley and the guys in Villanova are famous for doing this, Villanova football. But Matt Caesar was a match, and he did that really cool profile on how he kind of, I believe his match was like some girl from the Ukraine or something like that, which just ended up being a cool, out-of-this-world story. So, I appreciate you putting up with me again.
Yeah, no problem.
Forward to a big day of wrestling tomorrow, but thanks for letting me do that, Dave. I appreciate it.
Great stuff. Thanks, Oak. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. We'll see you.
All right, that was John O'Kane from the Press of Atlantic City.